bra straps. What up, what up, what up, what up, everybody? Welcome back to week 4 of the Ravens Roundup. And we're going to talk about that debacle that happened in Kansas City this weekend. And so we got the usual guest of characters here. Chris. We're going to start with Chris. Who did you kick out this week?
I didn't kick anybody out this week. It's
We're missing one.
Yeah. Shout out to Kerry. Kerry has some duty to attend to. But we holding it down for him.
We're on the backup tip. Since we're gonna be talking a lot about backups, I'm the backup.
So you need to be in a commercial like with Teddy Bridgewater.
Yeah.
Call the backups in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Hopefully I can be a little bit better than some of the backups we might talk about. But.
Oh my goodness. My goodness. Sutton, what's good, man? I see you've been putting in work, man. You've been doing your thing over there. Breaking news, you own it. Regular news, you own it. No news, you own it. What's good with you?
I'm good, man. There's been a lot of news coming out, so I've been putting in a lot of extra overtime because in the Ravens flock, they need it. You know what I mean? The engagement's been going crazy all week. I'm sure you already know, Coach. We need the therapy session, so I'm glad to be here.
When the fish grease is hot, you gotta drop it.
Yeah.
And for Jose, Jose just got offline 20 minutes ago.
Got off work, got online, got offline. Now I'm literally in the kitchen.
Cooking. So what's good with you and B? What y'all got cooking over there?
We're just talking about this the debacle that is the Baltimore Ravens. We haven't even gotten a chance to talk about the Panthers yet because it ain't great, Bob. So tune in tomorrow and we're gonna cover both of those teams.
All right. So me and this is a little side note. Me and Chris's daughters are even more distraught because our team that was in the playoff hunt for 170-ish games did not make it on the last day of the Ravens.
Oh, your Mets.
Them janky, you know what, Mets. 2 years in a row, not 2 years in a row, 2 out of the last 3 years, highest paid team payroll didn't make the playoffs. But it could be who's got it better than us.
Oh,
Everybody.
Everybody.
So let's dive into our topics for today and get this thing fired up. I think it's gonna be a real good one for y'all. So y'all in the chat box, engage, drop your comments, and we'll try to work you in, work you in as we see fit. But we're gonna start with something a little different. We're gonna start with the news from today. So we're gonna start with Lamar. The official word came out that he's probably gonna miss 2 or 3 weeks. So I think most of us are saying right after the bye week he'll be back. I assumed that when I changed my tune and realized, okay, yeah, this dude is hurt for real, that he'd probably be back after the bye week. So that's kind of where we're at on it. And going through the panel, how do you guys feel about Lamar missing 2 to maybe 3 weeks? Well, 3 weeks will be the bye, but 2 weeks.
I mean, we're about to find out if EDC is really cooking and Harbaugh knows what he's doing, or are they about to get exposed? Because this is the type of game, particularly the Houston game. Look, the Rams are good, right? Nobody's gonna bat an eye if we just flat out lose to the Rams. But Houston, look, we know what it is on defense. They're a tough defense, but they're a type of team you expect to win with a solid backup. But we know what it is with this team. Me and B have been talking about this for a couple of years. Some of the concerns that we had, especially about the O-line. They never invested in O-line. It's showing right now. They never invested in a backup quarterback. And we'll see if Cooper Rush can get it done for one game. That's really what he needs to do, just get it done for one game. But I have a feeling it's going to be a disaster. And that causes ripple effects throughout the organization. Starting out, if you come back from the bye 2-4, Lamar comes back, that looks a lot better than 1-5 coming out the bye. That could cost some jobs. So we'll see.
I agree. Anybody else on 8?
I mean, they've been here. they've been there before. It's been a while, right? 2021, 2022, and those are kind of the back half of the season. So, I mean, they've been through having to play games without Lamar before, and the thought, right, with bringing in Cooper Rush was that this was an upgrade of your recent backup quarterback situations. And look, anytime you lose your starter, any quarterback who's a starter in this league, particularly one of the top guys, it's not good. I mean, there's no way to sugarcoat it. They're going to say all of the things that they're supposed to say about next man up. And, you know, we just gotta keep, you know, working on all the little things, because that's what they have to do. I mean, what else can they say? They can't come out and be like, this guy's trash, we're cooked. They're not going to say that. So, you know, they got to continue to say what they need to say. But this is supposed to be a team sport. Coach, you talk about all this, right? And so it's going to be an opportunity, not just for Cooper Rush, but for a number of other guys who've either not played much, just, you know, they're new to the team, or some young players who just got here this year through the draft, or, you know, undrafted free agents or whatever, to play a bigger role. And we're going to see.
Let me ask this for the two that didn't answer yet. Let me ask you a different little question. When do you think this actually happened? Because I don't think this just started this game. When do you guys think this hamstring issue actually started?
Ooh, that's a good question, Coach. I mean, honestly, for me, I would say since week 1, to be honest with you. I mean, like, I don't think that Lamar Jackson, and I actually made a video about this yesterday, I don't think Lamar Jackson has looked quite the same using his legs. And this might be true for the past couple of years. The rushing numbers have gone down year to year, but this season early on, it definitely didn't seem like there was that level of explosiveness that you would see early on in the season when he's presumably healthy. So I would say week 1, you guys remember when he got decleated by Ed Oliver late in that game. I think that was like the start of, you know, after that, he was all of a sudden cramping, right? And then I don't know, we haven't really seen any explosion since. So I would say since week 1, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I agree with that. Because that's when they were talking about, oh, why didn't you go for it on 4th down? And he was just like, I was cramping, you know. It could have been that, but you know, like Sutton said, it just that explosion that we're used to seeing from him, that, you know, easy speed that we're used to seeing from him, when it just looks like he's jogging and these other guys are full on sprint and Lamar just, you know, smoothly gliding away from them. We haven't been able to see that yet.
Agreed. I didn't think he was initially. I didn't think he was injured. I thought he was just hurt, and we talked about this off line. But like I said, I apologized in my other video earlier, but he legit hurt, and I just think it's a combination, man. I don't know if y'all know this number, but Lamar been sacked 15 times already.
Yeah.
And when I did my little math, and my math ain't the greatest math. I know how to count money, but my math ain't the greatest math. That's 60 sacks in a 16-game season with an extra game to go if he was healthy. You can't withstand, like didn't David Carr get sacked like that many times, and you see where he at?
Yeah.
You can't possibly withstand that. And keep in mind, this is one of the most athletic dudes walking the planet. He can't get out of some of the stuff that the offensive line put him in. And so, speaking of offensive line, we were so sure about the 2 guards we have and drafting other guys. We actually signed a guard today. I think it was a 2022 first-round pick of the Texans. Maybe is that correct?
Texans.
Keon Green. Yeah, Keon Green, 2022 first-round pick. Was sitting at home, so apparently it ain't work out. What do you think about the signing? Because I don't know much about Keon yet, but what does it say about the faith in the guards that we have?
I mean, honestly, I guess I'll go first really quick. I mean, it says a whole lot, to be honest with you. When it comes to pass blocking, when it comes to run blocking, they have not really been able to kind of be consistent in either of those areas. And so them going out and doing their quote unquote due diligence, Eric DaCosta here, it speaks volumes to how they feel about the future of this season as it pertains to the trenches on the offensive line. It'll be interesting to see what they do across the defensive line as well. But speaking just strictly about Kenyon Green here, again, like you said, Coach, 2022 first round pick with the Texans, had his most recent stint with the Eagles, didn't work out with either teams. He's sitting at home on the couch. Here he is in Baltimore now. All I can really hope is that they try to rotate him in. Maybe they even elevate a Corey Bullock. I don't know how you guys feel about him, but maybe they rotate a couple of these guys in and see what they can do, because when you got guys like number 77 and my guy who I had a lot of hopes for, Andrew Voorhees at the left guard spot, doing what they're doing, which is not the right thing, at least consistently, you got to bring in some different options. So I think it's important. Like, of course, us as Ravens fans, we want to be like, aha, we told you so. But I think it's a net positive that they're at least like doing their due diligence to see what options we have.
I have a question before we go on. So right above you, Sutton, is that guy that you didn't name's lawyer. That's
unofficial.
That's his unofficial lawyer. So my question is to counsel: are you still in step with your client, or are you kind of telling him to seek other counsel?
Oh, never that. We gonna ride till the wheels fall off. But unless it's injury related, and as far as I know, they've not reported any injuries to their guards. If you bringing in another guard, there's probably some question that you have about your current group, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I know, and Kerry pointed this out to me and Chris, that Kenyon, I think, was there when Warhawk was still the Texans' offensive line coach. So he's got that connection, Ravens' current offensive line coach. And then, people saw when he went to Philly, I think just this past offseason is when they signed him. And when they made the move, everybody was like, look, they go Howie Roseman again. Look, he always find a way to get these diamonds in the rough, because he was a former first round pick, and it didn't go well in Houston. And then the Eagles ended up cutting. And then people were like, if Jeff Stoutland can't fix you, it might not be no hope. But I think it might have been a little bit of a numbers game there too with him, because it's like, I think one of their offensive line draft picks got hurt. And so they had Kenyon on the practice squad, and they elevated him, but then something else happened, and so they cut him, but then they brought him back. So basically he got brought back and let go like twice. And I think it did become kind of a numbers game. But at the end of the day, if they see you as an asset, they're going to find a way to make a spot for you. So yeah, it definitely says something that they made that move. But we ain't done. I think we ain't done yet, Coach. I think we ain't done yet.
But see, Mike, I gave you plausible deniability before the show started, right?
You did.
77 might need some surgery, LASIK surgery.
Okay.
We were talking about the play where he ended up blocking Linderbaum instead of blocking the defender, and I was just like, that just. It looks like his depth perception might be off there. Okay, he just might need a little corrective surgery, and he's good to go. All right.
Hey, quick story. You remember Jake Reed?
Mm-hmm.
Wide receiver from the Vikings back in the day?
Vikings, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Legit. That's what happened to him. They got him LASIK, and he turned out to be a better player. So you might be on to something.
Another example. Jameis Winston got LASIK and hadn't thrown nearly as many interceptions as he threw before LASIK.
There you go. He still makes the bad decisions, but
no, because he ain't played.
so Jose, we ain't turning nothing down. Any suggestions? we taking all the suggestions. Refer us to any expert you got.
Hey, Chris, we got the new funny man that's challenging your funny right now.
That's a whole lot of ass right there.
Shout out to Pinky.
Also, legends right there. Okay,
get your gold jackets.
First ballots. All right.
We need that funny looking dude with the glasses and the lotion. Dude who does all their breakdowns.
Oh. Y'all going at you wild, man. You going there is wild. But to Jose and Chris, for those that don't know, on the end, this is Eric Kendricks, linebacker. Had some good years with the Vikings.
I want to talk about Green.
Oh, go ahead.
So Green, I don't think this is gonna mean anything for the starters. Like, I don't think it's gonna mean anything. I think this is just simply a depth piece. When it comes to the starters, they're gonna ride or die with those dudes, unless it's the injury, of course. We could have whatever opinions we have of those two guys, but the coaching staff, they will ride and die with those dudes rather than admit that they were wrong or give up on them. So I think this is just simply a depth signing. I don't think he will make a start unless there's some kind of injury or anything like that with him.
So what you saying be a depth signing? That means Ben Cleveland goes farther down the charts.
I mean, how much further can he go down? I mean, they haven't rocked with him. They haven't rocked with him for years now. So we know what they think of him.
But they let him be that sixth lineman all the time.
Shit, not anymore.
They can use what's called for that. They can use Carson Benson for that. At least he can move.
They were using what's the dude's name? The left tackle.
No
boom. Yeah, No Boom was taking some of those 6 offensive lineman snaps too.
Oh, okay.
Well, that was before Ronnie's injury, so I don't know how it looks looking now.
Yes, yeah, we got injury upon injury upon injury upon injury.
But again, Coach, doesn't it speak volumes that, like, since we do have all of these injuries, and one of the few positions that didn't get injured is guard, right? But yet they're bringing in extra work at guard. That says a whole lot to me.
A lot, like Mike started off with, like, because we ain't heard nothing like Valela ain't tweaked a knee or ankle or nothing about Voorhees, but you bringing in guards. Emery still hurt because of. I think they're trying to stash Emery. It's been the longest shoulder thing ever, unless he just got degenerative joints. And the kid probably 21, so that's probably I think they're just trying to stash him. But like you mentioned earlier with Bullock played good in the preseason. I don't know how that translates to regular season because you're playing different people. You ain't playing Chris Jones in the preseason. So he did good with the people that was in front of him, but can he handle the regular season hype? I don't know, but we don't think our guards we got in there can handle the regular season hype. So, in my opinion, you was rotating tackles at the beginning of last year. What's wrong with that? Especially this week. What's wrong with that?
Well, Warhop doesn't believe in that, right?
I don't really know what Warhop believes in. I believe Warhop just doing what Harbaugh tells him to do.
Facts.
For the most part. Now, me and Mike talked about one of his techniques, and that may be why we see a lot of them catching their girlfriend, start shooting their hands. And I wholeheartedly disagree with that. Wholeheartedly. Because if the dude's fast enough to get in your chest plate before you hug him, you're going backwards. No matter who you are, because there's this thing called leverage. Yeah. And even though he's 6'8", 260 or 360, whatever he is, if you hugging somebody and they get up in your chest plate with proper leverage, you're going backwards. The only thing you got to do to defend that is drop your anchor, and he can't do that. I've never seen him get bull rushed and just drop that weight and then stop. Have you, Mike?
You got to be able to bend, right?
Yeah.
In order to be able to drop your anchor, you got to be able to bend and get your hips lower than the other guy's hips, right? People talk about low man wins, and that's true, but it's really low hips win.
Right.
And so if you can get lower than that other guy and you can redirect his force, because if somebody's just running at you straight and you backing up, most of the time they're going to have the advantage just from a physics standpoint. But if you can take that force and redirect it up or left or right, you see that sometimes when guys sit down on bull rush, they get under, right? And they're trying to redirect that force instead of just taking it straight on and trying to just sit down. Some guys can. Some guys are just built different and they can just sit down on it. But Big Dan he's not one of those guys.
Gotcha. Let's move over to Eric Kendricks, linebacker. I know he played with the Vikings. Seen here with the Chargers. I can't remember what played with Dallas for a minute. I think maybe it was Dallas last year, wasn't it? When they were trying to move on, they were trying to move on from them safeties at linebackers they had a couple years ago. They brought in Kendricks, but for the most part, Kendricks had been a solid linebacker. Like, he's just been a solid dude. Now, I'm thinking about it, and I don't know how much he costs, dude like this probably should have been beside Roquan from the jump.
Yep. He knows what he's doing. He's always been solid. Even last year, he had 138 tackles. And I know because I always have him in my fantasy football league because he racks up tackles. Yeah, like he's one of those guys you don't need a coach. So a little slightly off topic, right? Me and B were talking about some of the problems that Zach Orr is having, coaching up the defense, and it's not just him, right? You look at the whole staff. It's a bunch of young guys on there, right? You got a bunch of position coaches that have been there. You got Dean Pease' son on there. He's been there 1 year. You got another guy on there that's been there for 2 years. Another guy that's been there for 5 years. So you have a young group of guys that need coaching that are being coached by a young group of guys that are learning how to coach, right? You can have one or the other. So if you have a young group of coaches, you need to have more veterans on the team. So you get somebody like Eric Kendricks that doesn't need coaching. He knows exactly what to do out there alongside Roquan Smith. That makes for a much better combo out there. If you got Roquan Smith next to a guy that's learning on the job, that makes his job harder. And I think that's where you get a little bit of hesitation from Roquan because he's trying to account for what his guy's doing and, what's going on the field. So that's a little confusing for him. If he doesn't have to worry about what Eric Kendricks is doing out there, he can play a lot more loosely out there. So definitely he should have been there from the jump.
Speaking of the coaches, Dennis Johnson, who's a defensive line coach, it's his second year.
Yeah.
And Matt Pease is Dean Pease' son, is a spitting image of Jimmy Kimmel. Spitting image of Jimmy Kimmel. So much that I got to show y'all. I got to show he's a spitting image of Jimmy Kimmel. Watch this. Right here.
Yep.
If that's not Jimmy Kimmel,
a little more gray.
Just a little heavier. Yeah.
I think that the inside backers coach is his first year. I think it's his first year in the NFL. He's coached for a while in college. It's his first
at
year.
Georgia Tech, if I'm not mistaken, where he came from.
Yeah. So this is his first year in the NFL. So, like
man,
Jose said,
I didn't realize this Chuck's 4 years. It's only 4 years for Chuck.
Yeah, he was more of like a one-on-one type of coach, right?
Private.
So he was like the O-line guy, he was not the O-line, he used to do D-line stuff too. I forget his name. Brandon T. Jordan, whatever. You know what I'm talking about. That coach Darius and coach Rashawn Gary and all them guys in the offseason.
Yeah.
But then you look at Warhop, 29 years.
Wow, I've been around, boy.
29 years. So how y'all feel? You think Kendricks will eventually get signed, and is it? Do you fear for Rowe's health with the possibility of them signing Kendrick?
I mean, no, not for me. I think that this is one of those moves that's a little bit of opposite of what Chris was saying in his last take about Kenyon Green. I think that this one is like more intentional about getting him into the starting lineup. All of the, giving him a tryout. I think that this is all like formalities. I think they're actually you're going to see him on Sundays pretty consistently. This is a guy who, last year, 3 forced fumbles, most notably for me. This is something that, again, like my guy Jose said, you don't have to coach him up. Excuse me, I can't talk. That's the thing. He's a plug and play linebacker, and that's exactly what the Ravens need right now. And when Roquan gets back in a couple weeks, was it a grade 2 strain or something like that he has? So it's going to be a little while for him. But when he gets back, having those two in tandem could be an even better thing. So I actually really love this.
What's interesting is how they go through this and then kind of repeat it. So remember the Peanut and the Kenny Young year where they had to go out and get Larry Foote and Josh Bynes, right?
Uncle Bynes
to clean that up, right? And of course, Josh has kind of been in and out and been around. But you don't have to go back that far. You can go back as recent as last year with Trenton, and they said, okay, we're gonna give those snaps to Chris Board and Malik Harrison,
right?
And so they go through this thing with the linebacker opposite kind of their main guy, whoever's playing Mike. And then having to figure out that, okay, that didn't work, right? We tried an experiment with some young guys, and that didn't work. And I get it. You don't know until you get the young guys out there in real game situations to know if it's going to work or not. But I think they're kind of back to that again this year, because I mean, you might talk about it. We might talk about it later here. But Trenton, when he got out there the other against the Chiefs, man, it's still like it just looks like it's still moving too fast for him. You know, and that's kind of disappointing when you think about where he's at in his young career. But still, you were kind of hoping that, you know, he was going to take that next step. And then, of course, Teddy's a rookie, right? Buchanan's a rookie. And Denard and I talked about this in the offseason. We did an offseason review pod on all the defensive line groups. And we said, look, that linebacker room outside of row is very young. It's extremely young. And so, you know, if one little domino falls, or big domino in this case falls,
right,
big joker goes down, this is the situation you find yourselves in, where you got to bring in reinforcements.
I didn't realize how young it was, especially looking at Santucci's like NFL years. This is his first
one.
And I don't think he's doing a bad job. I think he got to clean up. I think last year's guy did a terrible job. Yeah. And I think this dude is in the process of trying to clean it up.
They doing way too much experimenting with this team when this is supposed to be their window. You're supposed to get short things, you know, and they playing even on the coaching staff. They playing around with it. They making moves like they comfortable.
Yep. That shit. The ones that got the money, they all comfortable. As long as people still buying stuff and going to games, what's going to be felt is I saw a ticket today for one game was down to $55. And you know, Baltimore tickets ain't cheap at all.
Right.
So if this keeps up, they're gonna have to do something. Because this Houston game in it's in Baltimore, right?
It's in Baltimore.
Yeah.
They might not even get a may not even get a full house. They might not get a full house.
With Lamar out,
this game gets ugly.
It's gonna get ugly.
Yeah.
I still don't think nothing will be done before the break, though. I think if they make a move, I think it'll be the break. Appreciate your attitude, Pop, for the 5. I don't see a message, but if you have a message and I see it, while if I catch it before scrolling, I'll throw it up there. But appreciate you for the 5. All right, let's dive into our. No, I forgot one more thing. We got one more thing. This situation right here. I think Sutton, you talked about this, and I don't know if any of you other guys mentioned it, but listen to the press conference the other day. I really feel like Harbs threw my man, not necessarily under the bus. He threw them down there with the it clown. And
the sewer.
Pennywise.
Right. Pennywise. He threw him down there with Pennywise. Yeah, like I'm kind of knee-jerkish because I'm an artist. I'm sensitive about my, like Erica said. But if I'm tired listening to that, I'm pissed. And I ain't finna go say nothing that cost me my job, but it's gonna be like some yeah. Okay. Yeah, boss. Now, and small talk, done. What you doing? Done. All that, done. It's work related only. I work for you. We ain't friends. What my FTMF? But how y'all feel about it?
You want to do super chat before we go? YPC do a super chat and add Tupac do another super chat.
Let me see. Let me get them right quick. YPC Dro said, if the Ravens can win 3 straight games before the week, they still got a chance. Well, it's 2 before the bye week, but I get what you're saying, and I got something cooking up about how that can work too, Dro. I do. I got something cooking up on that. Me and my guy D's been talking about it, cooking something up, and so Attitude Pop dropped another 5, so appreciate it. He said Ravens fans have truly never liked Lamar. They on his IG comments making threats and saying he sucks, talking crazy about him and sad and disgusted. Well,
those aren't Ravens fans.
Yeah, right. No. They not.
Those are just
trolls. Not at all. They not. And I'd be willing to bet that most of those people are fans of like the Bills.
Or not fans at all.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, just terrible human beings. What up, being Raven?
Russian
What's good?
What up?
What's good?
Good ain't.
But how y'all feel about that? I feel like he threw him on the bus. I don't know if y'all do, but I feel like he did.
I think it's bullshit. You're gonna go out there and talk shit about the offense. Like, the reason why they have a win and close to other wins is because of the offense.
Right.
The defense is out there pissing down their leg, you know, at every turn, and you're gonna throw the offense under the bus. Like I mean, yeah, you could have gripes with it. It's not perfect. I mean, nothing is ever perfect. Are there personnel decisions that I don't agree with? Are there play calls that I don't agree with? I'm sure Harbs feels the same way. But you don't do that. And that's been my constant problem with Harbaugh and throwing people under the bus. It's not just a coach, it is players too. Mike and Kerry and I, we've talked about this for years. The way that he threw Ronnie Stanley under the bus, the way that he threw Tyus Bowser under the bus. Like these are dudes, these were vets that are respected in the locker room. And you throwing them under the bus like they're Earl Thomas. If you want to throw Earl Thomas under the bus, I'm cool. I'm fine with that. You know, if somebody's an asshole,
under the bus.
If somebody's an asshole and nobody on the team seemingly likes him, that's fine with me. But dudes who have been in your building, who have come up in your program, you don't do that to. You know, and for him to do that to this dude, is just that's who he is when it comes to this type of stuff. When you're buddy with him, he's not going to throw you under the bus. You know, and just from the outside looking in, I could be completely wrong, but Todd Monken seems like he goes to the tune of his own drum. Like he's not going to be a yes man. He's not going to sugarcoat things. He's going to be a straight shooter. Just from the outside looking in, I could be completely wrong. So I don't know if Harbs isn't rocking with it. I don't know, but it just, I don't like the way Harbs conducts business like that, and it's always been very snakish to me, and that's one of the reasons why I've never really liked Harbs that much.
Facts.
I've always just said don't pick and choose. Going back to what Chris was saying, this is what me and Kerry would say all the time. Don't, because there'll be times when he'll try to talk about injuries or he'll say something about a coach, and then there'll be other times when you ask him, I'm not going to talk about injuries. Or we're just going to keep that in house. We're not going to say that. And I would always say, then, if you're going to be that way, then be that way all the time. Just be a Belichick.
Right.
And just be like, no comment. No comment. No comment. Just do that with everything, right? Instead of picking and choosing when you're going to say something and when you're not going to say something. And you know, we know that coaches and try to send different messages through the media, you know, at times. So I don't know what was behind that, why he went so hard in on Todd like that. So I don't know. I don't know what was behind that, because typically, even with all of his other comments that he'll make at times, he typically don't go that hard after his coaches. So I don't know what was going on with that. Not
that was pressure. That was panic, right? He feeling the heat. He knows how the team look. You know, some players might have said some things to him after the fact too, and he's feeling a little pressure. And when he panics, man, like, it's self-preservation time, man. Like, hey, it's Cam's fault. It's G-Ro's fault. It's you know, it's Monken's fault. Don't blame me. I don't know why he ain't, you know, Derrick Henry ain't got the ball 8 times. I'm not the head coach, right? I don't have any control over here, right? It's Todd to Todd. You know, that's what's going on.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I totally agree with that, Jose. I mean, for me, and here was the quote from the other day. Quote, in a game like this, you've got to be aggressive in short yardage situations. You've got to go for stuff, end quote. That came from John Harbaugh. And it just kind of confuses me, because if I'm not mistaken, John Harbaugh is wearing a headset on the sideline. I know Todd Monken sits way up there in the booth, right? So he can watch it from top down. But I would assume they'd be able to communicate with each other. And if there's something that doesn't make sense to John Harbaugh, I don't know, like not having Derrick Henry on the field on 3rd and 2 or 4th and 1 or whatever, and always putting Justice Hill out there. So it's basically like the biggest tell in the NFL. Maybe say something, right? Maybe, I don't know if the headsets at the bank just aren't working. Maybe they need to switch back to the Motorola's from yesteryear. I don't know what it is, but like, to me, man, it just doesn't make a whole lot of sense how you can sit up there and say, like, yeah, we didn't like the play calling, but you're the one who the buck is supposed to stop with. I mean, just deplorable from John Harbaugh. And then to not, you know, to basically say that, oh, the defense is close to being where they want it to be. Man. That's what he said about Zach Orr's defense, when literally every metric, every statistic will tell you that it's as far away as from where it needs to be as possible. Static says here with the 2-piece in the chat, says, because Zach Orr isn't a threat to be interim head coach.
I felt it was appropriate when you said what you said. That he put in that a while ago, or she put in that a while ago at the pictures of she. But
That's why I clicked it when you said that, because it felt real appropriate after what you were saying. Because Monken could be a head coach. I don't think Oy is nowhere close to being that.
Too green.
Yeah.
Now, and keep in mind, he said this to a guy that has scored 40, 37, and then obviously 20 this week. That's a total of 34 points a game. In what world, if you score 34 points a game, you have a losing season?
I think they are they like third in the NFL in points scored?
Probably. Yeah, I seen on a graphic. Yeah, they definitely top 5, but I don't know if it might be third, but they definitely up there. So you say that to him. But another thing about Harbs, I brought receipts today. Sudden, you got the transcript from when they talked. Let me see if I can.
No, not the entire thing. No, I just had that one little blurb.
So during the presser, our guy said that on the sack there was no hot routes. So obviously this is the sack play. He's going not the sack. I apologize. The interception. On the interception, there were no hot routes. So this is a still shot of the interception. So if they're bringing all of that, who is this guy and who's covering him?
He gonna play word games with you, coach.
But you're supposed to know.
He gonna play word games. He gonna say that's not a hot route. That's a check release. He gonna play word games. That's what he gonna try to do. We know it's an available option if you got pressure. Call it what you want. It's a available option if you get pressure. So he can play them word games if he wants to. But like you showing right there, the tape don't lie.
Hot. Like I was in the gym when he said that. I stopped my workout to go screen grab this because I knew I had watched this earlier. Like, why he just throw the hot route? Because I had to go see what down the distance it was. Because like maybe he trying to get maybe trying to it's third or something. He trying to get the first down. This was 1st and 10.
Yeah,
it was 1st and 10.
So they bought 5 on this play, if I remember correctly, and then the 6th guy came in as like a delayed rusher right up the middle, right? So I mean, I would have liked for Lamar Jackson to be able to look to his left because it looked like most of the blitz actually came from towards the bottom of your screen here. So like look that way and throw into the blitz instead of throwing into a blatant coverage where Leo Chenal was on Mark Andrews. So I kind of put that on Lamar. That's why I think it's a pretty bad interception. But still coaching at the same time, you have to let Lamar know, or at least let Lamar know going into this play, like, look, you're probably going to get pressure. This is what the Chiefs do. We're a well-coached team just like they are, right? So we're not going to fall for the same exact tricks that we fall for every single time we play these guys. Throw into the blitz. That's where you're going to have the open receiver. But I don't know. I guess that wasn't communicated. Lamar Jackson didn't see it, and it ended up this started the landslide right here. This screenshot right here started the landslide.
I agree. Now, what I will say this is, and people don't like when we say things about Lamar. When you get pressure as an NFL quarterback, you have to know where your hots are at all times. Now, because you got to come to them at the last minute or quickly. Now, if somebody jumped the hot because they own it, that's it happens. Like I was watching the Falcons last week when Mike Penix played terrible. He checked 1, checked 2, got late pressure. He just really didn't even look through it to his hot route. Well, that time the hot route just happened to be covered, but he knew exactly what the hot route was or the safety valve without having to just stare it down and see it. You got to know your one exit strategy.
Yeah, which was crazy about this play was he was doing that earlier in the game on that first drive. A couple of those quick passes to Andrews. Yeah, he saw the blitz, got the ball out, got it to the uncovered guy quick. Even when he had a little bit more time on some other plays, checked it down to the running back when nobody. So he was seeing the field, going through progressions, doing what he needed to do, and just for whatever reason on this play, it didn't happen. Which of course you're not going to be perfect on every single play. But
agree.
It didn't happen on that one.
I agree. I think it is like you said, you're not going to be perfect every play. But when you're not, some other guys got to help you. Like, I think it was a bad decision to throw this ball, but I also think it was a terrible effort to play DB. As y'all saw, D-Hop later in the game got a not so good ball, and he went straight Deion Sanders mode.
Yep.
So, let me get this super chat. Appreciate it, KB. Appreciate it. He says, we are not surprised. Ed Reed said, John told the F you if you don't ride with me. Harbaugh is a con with too much power. I just think he likes Lamar. And after that press conference during the contract, just saying. Yeah, he went on the PR spiel after, the contract. Yeah, he's gonna be the greatest ever, which we all thought that, but you didn't act like you thought that. And he went on this whole, PR spiel, just smooching up and saying the right words and trying to ease everything out because he know this last 8 years of his career. Well, I ain't say of his career because he probably got hired to, do other things because the NFL's a brotherhood. But the 8 years, he wouldn't have been here these last 8 years in Baltimore.
Nope.
If Lamar Demetrius Jackson is not on that team, and if Ozzie don't pick him 32nd, he had a snowball's chance in hell of keeping that job that year. He just happened to have a mighty strong snowball.
Yeah.
Because then Bisciotti say back then he was thinking about it.
Yes.
Yeah.
He said that beginning of the year, before they even did a draft, that he had considered firing Harbaugh. Oh, I remember vividly.
Yeah, it was on the Rich Eisen show.
Yep.
And so they got to figure it out ASAP. All ain't lost yet. All ain't lost yet, but they got to figure it out ASAP. And I told y'all.
The fact that Harbaugh said that the defense is close, it's just like
it's crazy.
If I was in the crowd, I would have did what the old dude from New Jack City did, and I would have been like, your soul is required in hell. Just took him right out.
Hold on, let's look at these almost there numbers. Where my defense at?
Team close to being historically bad. That's what they're close to.
Just scroll all the way down to the bottom.
We ain't 32 no more. We ain't 32 no more. We 31, baby.
We're close though.
We 31.
Cowboys gave up that 40.
Yeah, we 31, baby. We moving on up. We like the Jeffersons. Moving up to the east side. Points per game. See, how's this? This is the most.
Number one.
Oh, wow.
Number one. 33 points per game. And we score. You know what? That's how we 1-3. We score 34 and we give up 33.
There you go.
What is it? Passing yards right here. Second. If it wasn't for the Cowboys, the team who they say we are, the AFC. At least that's what the people say. And then we're rush at. I think we might be decent in rush. Oh, we sixth. Sixth. Oh, I forgot that two-piece D.
Yeah, that two bills. You forgot about the
I forgot about the 2 bills D. put on.
Do you know how nice this team would look if the defense was just all right?
Middle of the road.
If they only gave up 20 points a game?
Yeah, if they're just all right. They're all right. Man, we will look unbeatable right now.
They could just be what they were in the second half of last year.
Let's just say they gave up 30 points a game. Let's say they gave up 30 points each game. We'd be 3-1.
Wow.
Only loss would have been this last one to KC, which is crazy. But the defense, what'd you say? They close.
They close.
They're close. Yeah.
They're close. They're close. All right. I told y'all these two pitches was probably gonna take us all the way through, didn't it? So we'll get into this first one, and it's a broad topic, but there are little questions in it. So I'll read all the questions, and you can kind of choose which one you choose to answer, but they all gonna be kind of fall up under the same umbrella, if that makes sense. That way, everybody ain't just spouting the same thing over and over. All right. So we'll start with one. We probably won't get past one, but it's talking about injury and depth testing. How much did the wave of injuries, Lamar, Roquan, Marlon, Ronnie, Nate, all them other guys, affect the game plan and execution? Second one is Baltimore's depth being exposed, particularly in the defensive and offensive line. And then what does this say about the roster construction and the ability to absorb hits? Now, I put this last one in there because Jose always talks about roster construction and Eric DeCosta. But those are three, marks right there. And Jose, since I mentioned you, let you go ahead and start.
You want me to start from the top or just pick any one of these?
Just pick one. Yeah, just pick one.
Okay. Look, I'm gonna pick up my guy EDC. Right? I'm gonna pick on it because we all know, man. Like we all know, it starts up front, offense and defensive lines, build that out. And when Lamar was in his rookie year, we had a really good O-line thanks to Ozzie. And, it slowly deteriorated over time because they just decided not to invest in that. And listen, man, like, look, I'm sensitive to this stuff, man. Like, I call it the black quarterback treatment. Like, this is what they do historically. The black quarterbacks is they show some athleticism, and it's just like, oh well, you don't need to protect them because they'll make moves with their they'll make plays with their legs, and you don't have to protect them right there. Let's invest in defense. Let's not get him weapons. Like he can make things happen with his feet, and like, thank goodness they didn't do that to Jalen Hurts in Philly, and he rewarded them with the Super Bowl. Right. That, like, every year it screams that we need help on the offensive line. The last time those line was this bad, he got hurt. Right. You put what's his name from
Villanueva.
And he got hurt. I don't know why they thought Voorhees was the clear answer. He was never challenged for the job. They gave him the job last year. Why? He wasn't healthy, and when he got a little healthy, he didn't get that much rep in the offseason, but you hand him the job, he gets hurt again, and when he gets healthy, you don't want to give him the job back because he's not that good. And then coming into this offseason, you bring in nobody to challenge him, even if you have faith, right? Even if you have faith in him, like, you still got to bring in somebody to challenge him. These guys are young. Same thing with Falele. It's okay if you think these are the guys of the future, but in your window, you have to be sure. You can't be guessing. You can't be like, oh, we're projecting these guys are going to be good. You have to know what you have. And that just spreads along the whole team, not just offense. Same thing on defense. We're going to bring in guys, a bunch of young guys, and they're going to be this, they're going to be that. And you don't really have anybody that's proven. Who won this team? Like, everybody says EDC has hit on a lot of these guys. Which one of these guys has actually proven they're good? A couple of them, but not many.
I'll give you Kyle.
Yep. Matabike.
Matabike.
I
feel like Nate's on the way.
Yeah.
Yep. Not there yet, though.
Not there yet.
No, second year, still young.
There's a lot of guys that we feel like are on the way, but how many of them we're like, no, they've arrived. They're here.
There's Matabike and Kyle.
Yeah,
that's a lot of picks. He's had damn near 50 picks.
Yep,
that's a lot of picks.
I mean, my guy.
Could we say
I like Travis too? Well, let him on. And I'll throw Travis in there too, but that still ain't before. And likely.
Yeah,
Likely. I think Likely's arrived. Likely should have probably been quick in there. And Zay. So that's 6. This list ain't gonna keep going.
Has Zay really arrived yet, though? I don't think Zay Flowers has officially, like, yeah, we're giving him a lot of target share right now, but like, I still haven't seen like the game breaking ability that I see from other receivers around the league who I would consider to have arrived. You know what I mean? So
JSN,
yeah,
Addison,
JSN, yeah. Who else was in there?
Quentin Johnson,
right?
All them in Zay class. But Quentin just not arriving 2 weeks ago, so I can't put that on there. You know, Quentin wasn't no better than me until 2 weeks ago.
He's having that 2024 Rashad Bateman season. Quentin
he must have got the powers because my guy Bateman is this. Well, we'll talk about him a later date. But Chris, which one you want to tackle?
I do the wave of injuries. Quite frankly, I don't give a shit about the injuries. When the team was healthy, they were struggling. So I don't want to hear about the injury stuff. You had this excuse in 2021, was it? Where like everybody, even the coaches, even the mascot was getting hurt. Yeah, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it.
All 3 pose got hurt.
Yeah, it's just at a certain point you run out of excuses, and injuries is not one that I want to hear about right now. It's obviously offensive line depth was a question, as particularly the guard position. It's been a question for years. That hasn't really been addressed in a competitive way. Like Jose said, all right, if you believe in Andrew Voorhees and Daniel Faalele, all right, cool. But like my man Kerry says, let's have insurance on your insurance. You come in and you re-sign a guy in Ben Cleveland who you've shown for 4 years you do not trust. I get he's cheap, but we know how you feel about him already. Why not invest in somebody who can come in and challenge for those spots? They drafted Emory Jones. Our thinking is, okay, they got a guard in there. But what they tell us is, we're going to give him a try at tackle. And it's like, we can't do this Tyree Phillips shit of tackle guard, tackle guard, tackle guard. At a certain point, you got to learn from your mistakes. You're messing up a kid's development when you have him flip-flopping between positions. If he's going to be a guard, let him be a guard. If he's going to be a tackle, let him be a tackle. And it's just that position specifically has been a major gripe of mine when it comes to the Ravens and their refusal to put high-quality draft picks or money into the position. They did it with what's the dude's name? Zeitler. They did it with him a few years ago. But it's always been a rotating door when it comes to either left or right guard. And I get it, you're not going to have Pro Bowlers. I fucking know for the people that are like, you can't have 5 Pro Bowlers across the line. I know that. I know that. I'm not dumb. I know that. What I am saying is you can have premium price rookies in there. As far when I say premium picks, it is rounds 1 through 3. You can have premium picks in there and invest in your offensive line. I'm not saying go out and just buy Pro Bowler after Pro Bowler, because that's obviously not sustainable for you to do that. But just invest in it. Don't throw a fucking Salah, whatever that dude's name, Salah Magalukiana. Don't throw that in there and be like, okay, we got it. Like, no, that's not going to work. But I'm done.
Wow. Piggybacking off of that, I got a quick trivia question for y'all in the panel. Speaking, we were talking about the wide receiver draft class, and Chris named off some names in that class. Who do y'all know who the best receiver is in that class?
In
Zay's class?
Puka?
God darn right.
Oh yeah.
And guess when he got picked at? 177.
He was 4th, right?
No, he's 5th.
5th?
He was 5th. The last pick in the 5th round, 177.
John Harbaugh said he knew he was going to be a type of player. Well, let's go with Trenton Simpson.
Mike,
oh my gosh.
you know what you were getting into, did you, son?
Hey, no, I would say just on to piggyback on what Chris said, because nothing further need to be said. But that second part of that question about did it affect the game plan and the execution? The only thing I would say about that, and I think this kind of goes back to the coaching, is when these reserve players had to come in, there were too many times where guys didn't look prepared. They couldn't get lined up correctly. You got 2 guys running to the same man, like they didn't understand what their assignment was. You got guys not being in the right gap. You got guys trying to run line games and running into each other. So I get that, these are sometimes the kind of mistakes that happen with inexperienced players and they haven't played together and they haven't played a whole lot. But you are either, I look at, this is a friend of mine used to say that, you're either coaching it or you're allowing it
to happen. It wasn't just your friend.
So you could say, okay, well, these guys, they're not in their playbooks, right? You can try to point the finger and blame the players. But like I said, if you hire somebody for a job and then you say they're underperforming their job, right? I'm gonna hold you accountable because you're not performing up up to the level of expectation. Well, who holds you accountable as the person who assigned them that job?
Yep.
Right. At some point, John Thompson used to say that to the time. He's like, you can say this player don't do that, this player don't do that. At a certain point, you gotta look at the person who's picking the players. So so I'm just saying, to see that happen to the extent that it happened, I always try to have a little grace for it, because I get it. It's guys coming in. Koy is his first game ever.
Right.
Like literally first NFL game. So, you try to have understanding for that. But then it just, for me, I'm just like, that was just happening too often.
Agreed. Let me hit this super chat real quick from Mad Roster. Drop the 5. I appreciate it. He said this team needs to burn to the ground for any change. Kyle should not have been extended. Red zone 1-on-1 always beat. Mike Green is a bust. I'll go no, and no. Yes, for all three of them. I appreciate the 5 man roster, but I can't agree on none of them. What you think about y'all? Is he offbeat on that? Or?
Yeah,
we don't judge rookies after 3 games.
Especially you drafted an extra play middle linebacker.
Oh my goodness. Cam sent me the picture in Discord. What's another day. Last one we'll let Sutton end us on this one, because I didn't give him a chance on the last one. So you this is yours, Sutton. Coaching, and I know this is a hot topic of yours because I've been watching the show, so I know how passionate you get about this dude on the screen. Evaluate John Harbaugh and staff. Did they make necessary halftime, third quarter, or any adjustments? And were there questionable play calls and or personnel issues a la Mike Green at Mike?
For sure. Number one, you never want to see Mike Green, David Ajabo, guys like that dropping back into coverage when literally the sole reason you brought them in was to rush the passer. So that's number one. There's nothing more that needs to be said about that. In terms of did they make necessary halftime and third quarter adjustments? To be honest with you, man, by halftime the game was pretty much over. So it doesn't really matter. Excuse me, what they could have done after that. Guys were getting banged up left and right. Lamar, of course, went down late in that third quarter. I didn't think there was any adjustments to be made at that point. They had already kind of capitulated the game. However, I will say, when it comes to John Harbaugh, I'm sick and tired, and I don't know if Steve Bisciotti feels the same way. I guess not, but I'm sick and tired of every time you go up against an Andy Reid, right? You just get bullied, right? You get bullied, right? And it's so clear that you can tell what's going on. Like MC had said early in that game, they had an answer, right, to what the Chiefs wanted to do, to the blitz and whatnot. They were throwing to the open guy. They were getting the ball out quick. They were running the ball, things like that. They had 3 carries on that first drive, right? Only 1 more carry for the entire first half to round out 4. You know what I mean? It's just they completely abandoned it. And then for Harbaugh to get up on the podium after the game and say, we had what we wanted to do. We didn't stick with it. It's like, well, why? Why did you not stick with it? Did you think that this was the 2021 Chiefs with prime Travis Kelce and Tyreek Hill taking the top off the defense and they're as high octane as they used to be? No, they came into that game struggling to score 20. They scored 20 before halftime on us.
Yep.
It's asinine all over. And I think that defensively, knowing that, or at least they should have known that the Chiefs offense is not what it used to be. Why are we running so much cover one man? That's my thing. Patrick Mahomes, especially in year 9, I think it is for Patrick Mahomes, he can diagnose man coverage with the best of them. And Andy Reid and them, they have a plan for that. There was bunch formations, right? Picks and rubs and just getting guys open for 6 yards at a time, 7 yards at a time. And it was basically they were using the quick passing game as their run game, because as you guys know, we didn't really let up too much on the ground against the Chiefs. And I thought it was going to be a whole lot different. I thought Isaiah Pacheco, Kareem Hunt, those guys were going to go off against us. But the Chiefs said, no, we don't have to do that. We can just kind of nickel and dime you all the way down the field, death by 1,000 cuts, and you're not going to be able to stop it because schematically you don't know what you're doing, quite frankly. So it's just, I don't know, all around, it was just a terrible effort. And I think that I said this on my show earlier today. If the Ravens were to drop the next 2 games, I don't care about the current injuries and things like that. Like Chris said, we didn't look good before the injuries, right? So if the Ravens drop these next 2 games and you go into the bye week 1-5, that's when I think there needs to be a big swing, a big change made. If you go 1-1, okay, cool. We can kind of reset, lick our wounds. We'll probably get Lamar Jackson back week 8. Week 8 will be Lamar week. You know, just no pun intended. 8 will be back in week 8. I think that wholeheartedly. But until then, I think that the Ravens need to win at least one of these games. If they lose both, somebody's got to go. And I don't know if that's going to be Zach Orr. I don't know. I know it's for damn sure not going to be Harbaugh. That's for sure. But I can see Zach Orr being scapegoated. And, you know, it's unfortunate. It would have to be him so young into his defensive coaching tenure.
Right.
It is what it is, right? But something's got to happen, especially if the Ravens drop these next 2.
Yeah, and just one quick piggyback. I'm starting to think, as much as I like Zach as a coach, I think he probably should have taken the Mike McDonald route. Remember, Mike went back to Michigan for that 1 year, and kind of, and then came back and got the job. And not to say, won't be.
That was a conspiracy. That was set up. The whole thing was set up for him to come back.
He needs good mentoring. Like he's not getting that here.
And if I'm not mistaken, wasn't mentored there with Mike McDonald when they was at Michigan?
Yeah, Jesse was there.
Yeah. So what was your John Thompson say about the people picking the person?
Yeah, he said you can't continue to blame the players. At some point, you gotta blame the person that's picking the players.
And he picking the coaches, so it is what it is.
Facts.
So, hey man, I saw some great comments out there, especially about how much we're deep into and how we feel like what we're talking about, and that's what I think it should be. You should be, you know, have a certain level of want to out of your team, especially if you're going to be a championship organization. And when the organization is not giving you championship material or championship product on the field, something needs to change. And if it don't change, to me, that means the owner's content with selling seats and selling merchandise. And but one way to knock that off, just don't go. Just don't go. Don't, you know, if it continues to go down the way you don't like, keep your dollars.
Hit them in the pockets like Disney.
That's it.
Facts.
Yeah.
I got rid of my season tickets.
Now, I'm just going to Miami because it's Miami.
Now you can just focus on the NBA, right, Chris?
That's right, baby. We out in Abu Dhabi now.
got a question. What are you doing with your son to make him out snap the receivers above him? Like what kind of workouts y'all doing?
It's just good old hard work, man. You know, doing them Rocky workouts in the basement and running the streets.
Drinking eggs.
Drinking wild eggs.
Yeah.
Hey, and that's how we gonna wrap up week 4 of the Ravens Roundup. This is Coach Evans. We got Jose from Lunch Break Hot Take, Chris Just Joking, and Mike from Deep Cover Podcast. Carrie, be back soon. And then Sutton from Purple Rain Podcast as well. Follow all of these gentlemen. The link is not in the description at the moment, but it will be shortly thereafter. I forgot to do it before we started. And I'll see 2 of these fellas tomorrow. We'll see Jose tomorrow. Tomorrow is Wednesday, so they went live to yesterday, right, Sutton?
Yep.
You and Alex. And then y'all go back
Thursday. We went live yesterday with Hoodie Ramey. We'll probably be back Thursday. We'll probably get another guest on. I got to hit one of you gentlemen up to come on the show. Hopefully you guys are free. You guys can come on. But yeah, we'll see.
Cool beans. And then myself, we out. Follow all us on the socials. Follow us on Twitter, X, or whatever that is, and YouTube channels as well. And don't forget about the little brother, More Sip the Tally. Go hit him up too. Just dropped the Mike Penix video, and I'm gonna promote myself on the way out. Peace, y'all.
Peace.